Hey everybody, how you doing? Chris here. Welcome to my Blu-ray update. And today I'll be reviewing two brand new releases, really fun releases from Arrow. First one is released by Arrow Video, and that is Evil Ed. And released by Arrow Academy is Spotlight on a Murderer. So let's first take a look at Evil Ed, which was released in 1995. And this is a horror film that pays homage to the cheesy horror films of the 1980s. So it does contain a lot of blood and gore, nudity, and all that great stuff. So if you're a fan of horror films, definitely worth checking it out, guys. I think you'll have a blast with this one, just as I did. And the story's about this a guy named Ed, and he's a film editor for a series of horror films that contains a lot of blood and gore, nudity, and all that. And he slowly becomes deranged by the footage that he's editing, and he just goes insane and decides to go on a killing spree himself. So this is a 3-disc set that is loaded with special features. We're talking about deleted scenes, bloopers, teasers, and trailers, plus the still gallery. You also get 2 cuts of the film. One is appropriately called the Special Edition. You also get the original cut, plus a never-before-seen extended 3-hour version of the making of documentary, plus a Reconstructing Edward featurette on the creation of the Special Edition cut. So as far as my thoughts on the presentation of this release, since this was shot on 16mm and blown to 35, you're going to get heavy grain, and the grain's going to be a bit more than you would usually come to expect for a Blu-ray release. But if you can look past all the grain, it is quite a sharp looking image and nice color saturation. And overall, I'm going to rate the picture quality a 4 out of a 5. And I'm going to give the audio mix a 4.5 out of a 5. This features the original stereo 5.1 audio track. Alright, so let's take a closer look at the packaging. And by the way, this film is in the 1.78 aspect ratio. So this is the special edition. You get the original cut right there, and that's a copy of the DVD, and that is the special edition on DVD, and you get the original artwork right here. And the back of the case, so if you want to pause the video and take a closer look at the supplements. And the booklet. But yeah, man, a lot of blood and gore in this one. I think you guys will have a really fun time with this release. Check that out right there. So that is Evil Ed. And next up I got Spotlight on a Murderer, which is released by Arrow Academy. And this is a classic French murder mystery film from 1961. And the story is about this old man who's about to die in this castle-like mansion. But he decides to hide someplace in the mansion before his death. So the people that are going to inherit his property won't know exactly where he is. So when they do show up, they're trying to look for him. But something mysteriously bad happens to them in the process, when they're trying to look for him. So I don't want to give that plot point away. I want you guys to check out this film because I think you guys will really enjoy this one. And it's a very atmospheric film too, and has really beautiful cinematography. And I thought Arrow did a fantastic job with this release, and I believe the movie itself was restored by Gaumont. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But really crisp looking image. It's a black and white movie, but it was spot on in terms of black levels, and it had the perfect balance of grain. So yeah, it's a very sharp image, and I'm going to rate that a solid 5 out of a 5 for both picture and sound. Very solid release, and I would compare these Arrow Academy releases on the same level as Criterion because they really put in a lot of effort to bring us quality films, and it pretty much shows with their releases. As far as special features, you get the original theatrical trailer plus a vintage production featurette, which is shot on location, and it includes interviews with the cast and crew, and that featurette is around 30 minutes long. And this film is presented in the 1.37 aspect ratio. Let's take a closer look at the packaging. So this is the newly commissioned artwork. I'm really digging that. Here are the specs on the back. And yeah, a lot of familiar faces in this film. And one of the actors in particular, I'm like, yeah, that guy looks familiar. And then I remembered, of course, he was much older at the time. A number of years ago, he was in the film Amour, this guy. And if you've seen Amour, you know what I'm talking about. That was a really difficult watch. It's about this older lady who's ill and she's getting taken care of by her husband. And then something bad happens to her. So yeah, that's the guy that played the husband in that film. If you haven't seen Amour, check it out. But it is a difficult watch. So you got the Blu-ray disc right there. Copy of the DVD, and you get the original artwork as well, and the booklet. So yeah, that's where the story takes place, in this mansion. Really creepy looking mansion too. One of the actresses. So yeah, that's the old man, and some image right there. Yeah, really solid release. So that is Spotlight on a Murderer. So that's my review for Evil Ed and Spotlight on a Murderer. Thanks for taking a look, guys, and as always, take care, and I'll see you guys next time.